Coordination compound. A coordination compound or metal complex, it's defined as the combination of two or more stable chemical species, but it retains its identity. Then transition metal ions. What is metal complex? It consists of central metal atom surrounded by ligands. Very good. Then in the year 1893, Alfred Werner, he explained first the bonding in coordination complexes. Then in the year 1972, Sidgwick, he explained the bonding in coordination compounds through donation of electron pairs from the ligands to the metal. Then we are going to see about crystal field theory. Crystal field theory, it considers some 6 points. First point, complex. It's a combination of central metal ion surrounded by ligands. First point. Second point, ligands, which are considered as point charges. Then bonding. The bond between the metal cation and the ligand is purely 100% ionic in nature. Then about interaction. The interaction between electrons of the cation and the electrons of the anion is nothing but ligands, is repulsive in nature. So a repulsive force is created. Because of the repulsive force, splitting of d orbitals occurring. Okay. Then about overlapping. In CFT, it does not consider about the overlapping between the metal orbital and the ligand orbital. Next. Shape of d orbitals. We know five orbitals, isn't it? First, dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square minus y square, and dz square. Very good. Next. First, all the d orbitals, 5 orbitals are equal in energy. It is nothing but degeneracy. Equal in energy, degeneracy. Then, because of the repulsive forces, the degeneracy is destroyed. Degeneracy is destroyed due to repulsive force. Very good. So that splitting occurs in the d orbital. Next. Okay. First we are considering octahedral. In an octahedral field, it's divided into two, dxy, yz and dzx. These three are considered as T to G. Okay. Then next thing, dx square minus y square and dz square. These are called Eg orbitals. T to G is nothing but, you all know, it's doubly degenerate gerade orbitals. Eg is nothing but, you all know, it is doubly first one, T to G is triply degenerate gerade orbital. Second thing, doubly degenerate gerade orbitals. Okay. And next thing, T to G. Here, all the lobes are present where? In between the axes. So that it is, these three are called non-axial orbitals. Then Eg, dx square minus y square and dz square. Here the lobes present along the axis. So that it's called axial orbitals. Then octahedral is divided, splitting into two, T to G and Eg. Reverse is tetrahedral. So Eg, T to G. Next. Now we have to see about we already seen the energy gap between two sets, that is T to G and Eg. The energy gap between these two is equal to 10 dq, or otherwise 1 del naught. Okay, 1 del naught is equal to 10 dq. That is T to G set is lowered by 2 by 5 del naught, which is equal to 0.4 del naught, or otherwise lowering, so minus 0.4 del naught. Okay. Then Eg set is raised by 3 by 5 del naught, which is equal to plus gain, so 0.6 del naught. Very good. Then calculation of net change in energy. Now we are going to calculate about the change in net change in energy. How to calculate? Consider d orbital, T to G, that orbital is, we are considering T to G as P, okay, and Eg as Q. So, d power P plus Q ion, considering like this. Then, consider gain in energy due to Eg. So, gain in energy due to Q electrons, Eg orbital, which is equal to 0.6 del naught into Q. And loss in energy, so minus 0.4 del naught into P. Okay. Now, we can calculate easily about the net change in energy. It is del naught is equal to 10 d cube. So, change in energy 0.4 into how many electrons present in P plus 0.6 into how many electrons present in Q into 10 d cube. Okay. Next. Low spin and high spin complexes. Now, example, octahedral D5 system. Consider D5 system, low spin. Low spin means how the electron will be accompanied, how electron will be existed. Consider d orbital, xy, yz, zx, x square minus y square and dz square. Here T to G, low spin. So, first 1, 2, 3 electron, then pairing occurring because low spin. So, 4, 5, T to G, finished, isn't it? So, minus 0.4 del naught. Here we have to calculate 5 electrons. Here there is no electron because low spin. Similarly, high spin means no pairing here. After filling up of T to G orbital, it will go upward, Eg. Okay, so 4. So, 5, each 1 electron. So, for Eg calculation now. P is equal to 5, Q is equal to 2. M, what is M? What is M and what is P? Now we are going to calculate crystal field stabilization energy, CFSE. Okay, problem. D7 ion, D7 system, T2G5, Eg2. Crystal field stabilization energy for weak field. Formula is minus 0.4 into how many electrons present in T2G? 5. Then 0.6 into how many electrons in Eg? 2 into del naught plus 2p. This is M. Formula is MP. M means, what is M? How many number of paired electron? Paired electron is small m. So, there 2 electrons pairing. So, 2. Here, what is P? Pairing energy. If they will give the value, you have to substitute or otherwise keep as such P. Okay. Now, if you simplify this, you will get this answer. Next, example for low spin complex or strong field, or otherwise it is called strong field. D7, T2G6, low spin. So, first itself filling up of T2G level, then only Eg, occupying of Eg. Now, P is 6, Q is 1 and M is equal to 3. So, CFSE we can calculate very easily. You will get this answer like this. Okay. Then, crystal field is splitting in an octahedral. So many fields are there, isn't it? Octahedral, tetrahedral, tetragonal and square planar. First we are going to see about octahedral field. I already said T2G, it will be splitting into 2 T2G Eg. Eg, it is nothing but higher energy set of orbitals. Now, when to expect square planar geometry? Here, consider the orbitals, it will be splitting into like this. D, xz, yz, xy is coming up, d z square up, x square minus y square like this. Now we are considering D8 system. Okay. So, example for D8 system is nickel 2 plus ion. So, when you will get square planar geometry? Then you will get in the presence of strong field ligand, isn't it? D8 system in the presence of strong field ligand. Strong field ligand example Cn minus. You will get square planar complex. This is first point. Then second point, consider second and third row D8 metals. Second and third row D8 metals. Now, irrespective of the nature of the ligand, you will get. How means? Consider palladium 2 plus complex. Okay. Now, with a weak field ligand, that is example for weak field ligand is Cl minus, you will get square planar complex. Example, palladium chloride complex. Okay. Next thing, square planar field. I already explained this one. Okay. Now, in this, ligands along the z axis, x, y, z, you will consider. Now, our ligand along the z axis removed from an octahedral complex. Then you will get square planar complex. Next, tetrahedral geometry. When you will expect tetrahedral geometry means, here also two cases. If our crystal field stabilization energy will be 0, then you will get tetrahedral geometry. Then, if your metal ion having very small crystal field stabilization energy like D2 and D7, then also you will get tetrahedral geometry. Then tetrahedral field. We already seen is the reverse of octahedral field, isn't it? In octahedral T to G, Eg, but reverse here Eg, T to G upward. So, like this you will get crystal field splitting in the tetrahedral field that is intrinsically smaller than octahedral field. So, what's the relationship between octahedral and tetrahedral means del T, which is equal to 4 by 9 del naught. This is the relationship between these two, tetrahedral and octahedral field. Okay. Then spectrochemical series. We all know about all these ligands. See, I minus to water. I minus to water. These ligands are called weak field ligands. Weak field ligands. Okay. Then about NCS minus to carbonate. So remaining. These ligands are called strong field ligands. So, strong field ligands are nothing but they are having higher splitting power. Similarly, weak field ligands, they are having lower splitting power. So, from this you yourself can explain spectrochemical series. Define spectrochemical series. Ligands are arranged in the order of their increasing splitting ability. This is nothing but spectrochemical series, isn't it? Next, applications of spectrochemical series. It is used to classify ligands into whether it is weak field or strong field. It is used. Okay. Then it is used to predict the magnetic properties of the magnetic properties as well as the geometry of the complex. What is magnetic property? Whether the complex is diamagnetic in nature or paramagnetic or ferro, whatever it may be. It is used to find out. Next, absorption spectrum. Here I have given you absorption spectrum of hexaquark titanium 3+ complex. So it will come under D1 system. D1 system. Okay. Example of D1 system is titanium complex. Okay. Titanium 3+ complex. Now, one electron in the ground state, that is T2G level. Okay. One electron. Now, this complex will absorb energy in the form of light. It will absorb energy in the form of light. So, it's just exciting from ground state to the excited state. So, T2G level to EG level. It's excited. It's excited. So, what will happen? What will happen? So that you will get the absorption spectrum like this in this 520 nanometer. Now, DD transition, this is nothing but DD transition, isn't it? One electron from T2G level to EG level. It's excited. DD transition, D electron from T2G level to EG level, it's excited. This is nothing but DD transition. Because of DD transition, we are getting a colored complex. Which color? Purple colored complex we are getting. That is titanium, hexaquark titanium 3+ complex is nothing but, it's which color? It's purple in color we will get. Okay. For one more example, if you take zinc complex, what color you will get? Colorless, because completely filled orbital. So there is no DD transition in oval, isn't it? Okay. The next thing, octahedral versus tetrahedral. We know octahedral T to G, EG. Splitting. The just reverse is tetrahedral field. Next, distribution of electrons in an octahedral complex. Consider octahedral complex, how the electrons will be distributed. First example, D1 system. So, we are going to calculate the net energy for going to calculate CFSE, that is CFSE means crystal field stabilization energy for D1 system. We are going to calculate D1 system CFSE. One electron is present, we know this is our T2G energy orbital, isn't it? So 0.4, 1 into 0.4, 0.4 del naught. Suppose D2 system means 2 electrons, so 2 into 0.4. D3 system means, but you have to consider about the orbital, whether it is T2G or EG. T2G means 0.4, EG means 0.6, isn't it? Minus or plus everything you have to calculate. Then 3, D3 system you know. The next thing, D4 system calculated, isn't it? D5 system like this, D6. Here, whether it is low spin or high spin, you have to consider that one also, okay? Then next, D7, D8 system, D9, D10. So totally, all the D10, D1 to D systems, D10 systems we have calculated for high spin as well as low spin. Understand? Understand. Next, Jahn-Teller effect. What is Jahn-Teller effect? We take it, very good. Non-linear molecular system in a degenerate electronic state will be unstable. When it will be unstable? Suppose it will undergo some kind of distortion. The symmetry will be lowered and remove the degeneracy. Isn't it? Degeneracy will be removed. Now, in the Z axis, alone elongation occurs. Okay, remaining fully short, Z axis alone elongated. Consider this one. And then Z alone compressed, other 4 edges elongated. Generally, the Jahn-Teller effect is only important for odd number of electrons, occupancy of the odd number of electrons in the EG level. Okay. Example for this one is copper-2 complex. Copper-2 complex. See, Z elongation here. Consider Z elongation, there Z compression. Remaining fully here Z alone elongated, remaining fully compressed. There Z alone compressed, remaining fully elongated. Okay. Now, I have plotted 2 graphs. Here, no Jahn-Teller distortion, no absorbance. Okay. Here, see spectra. This is nothing but first order Jahn-Teller distortion. So, by using Jahn-Teller effect, Jahn-Teller distortion, easily we can calculate D1 to D10 system. We have seen is D1 to D10 system, low spin and high spin complexes, how it will be distorted and whether you will get perfect geometry or distorted geometry, slight distortion or no distortion or strong distortion. Everything we have calculated by using this Jahn-Teller distortion, Jahn-Teller effect. Okay. Then, so far we have studied about crystal field theory, isn't it? What is the application of crystal field theory? Some 4 applications. It is used to explain color and spectra of the complex. Secondly, it is used to explain magnetic properties. Then Jahn-Teller distortion, and finally it is used to explain the crystal field stabilization energy.